to On Air with Kate Butler, where we are revealing life's best kept secret. Welcome back to On Air with Kate Butler. I am your host, and today we are here with an amazing guest. I am so excited for this conversation. I actually just had this guest behind the scenes, if you will, right? Backstage, the virtual backstage. And I was like, no, wait, hold on, pause a second, because I want everyone to hear what we're talking about, okay? We have to just pause it. We have to get everyone in on this conversation. So I would love to introduce to you my friend and the amazing Ash Ahern. She is a speaker, certified holistic business coach, and branding expert coming to us from Calgary, Canada. Woo, 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 love it. She is the founder of Fluid Business Lab, Inc., which is an interactive creative studio dedicated to the creation of aligned brands for impact-driven entrepreneurs and emerging influencers. We are digging into that today. You better believe that we are. Her development of the identity alignment model, I love that acronym, has propelled her to the forefront as a leading authority on authentic and sustainable. That's one of my favorite words I love to use in coaching. We're building sustainable businesses, people. Sustainable brands with purpose. She's also the mom of three. I'm sure that's going to be sprinkled into our conversation here a bit. And Ash is passionate about grace over hustle and tuning into the unique divine design with every client. I mean, come on. If you're not excited already, people, you're getting excited now, okay? Welcome, Ash. Welcome to our podcast. And I'm so excited to be speaking with you today.
I'm just stoked to be here, and I'm so grateful for the invite. So thank you. And obviously, any time and opportunity I get to hang out in your sphere, your zone of energy, I'm always pleased about that.
Woo! I love that. Well, that's fun. Thank you for that compliment. Energy is super important to both of us. So that actually, I don't say that like in jest completely, although we're joking around a little bit here, but that's a super important thing. So let's just kind of kick off with that comment here, because that is really what we're talking about, right? We are talking about the fact that you are building a business. Let me rephrase, because you've been in business for a long time. I mean, you and I met years ago, okay? And we have both been rocking this business ever since. And so you are now really concentrating on creating a new space, right? Based on really feeling good about what you're doing. And so tell us a little bit about just an overview first of what is it that you do? How do you bring us your brilliance in this world?
Okay, well, it's a lot, but if I were to summarize it, I would say that I take people's ideas and I co-create the way to bring those to the world. So some people it's a service, some people it's a product, it could be education, courses, memberships, whatever that might look like. But whatever their product is or their service, they usually have an idea and they are not quite sure how to bring that to the marketplace.
Yeah.
And so that's where I come in. We just co-create and we start from idea and we literally launch it to the world. So all of the little things that need to happen in between is what my team handles.
That's really fascinating, because there are so many people out there that go like, I see all these things happening online, or, like I have this idea that I know I can do this. Like I have this gift, right? That I know people can benefit from, that I know I can add value in this area or this area, but I really don't know how to go from in my brain, right? It to the computers or desks or space of the people who need me, right? So are you saying that you take it from inception to the client?
Literally. So
Yeah.
all of the things that have to happen in between, right? We're talking
Right.
naming, securing domains, trademarking, packaging, design, websites, sales copy, like literally everything, marketing strategy, the entire digital funnel, everything.
Yeah, I love this. Okay, that's actually phenomenal. Okay, so Ash, how did this happen for you? Okay, you're sitting here in front of us. You're absolutely gorgeous, right? You got the energy through the roof. You're saying all the right things here. Like I literally bring your idea and I build you a brand around it, is what I'm hearing you say, right? So how did you get here? How did you start doing this? Like what got you into this space?
It's really funny that you asked me that because I really just kept answering the call of what people were asking me for. I did that for 15 years because I had this idea. I had blinders on. I was going to be this business lady and I was going to accomplish this and I had all these great goals, but I
Yeah.
wasn't entirely sure how I would get there. And
Yeah.
so I just started to dabble. I would actually just listen to the calling of different interests that I had. Something would pique my curiosity over here and I would go explore that. And
Mhm.
so I've had what feels like lifetimes trying out different things, doing different careers. And what's so fascinating is when I look back at my life, I see how every little thing that I did played a part in what it is that I do today. And I had no idea that those things would be even remotely useful. Like when I was in university,
Yeah.
I had this job. I worked at a research company in the transcription department, and I thought, why would I ever need to use this? But what's interesting is one of our biggest clients at the time was Anheuser-Busch, which, if you don't know, in the United States is a massive, massive company. They do like spirits and breweries, and they own like, I don't know, probably 50 different brands now, including like Guinness and Molson and like all these crazy big beer
Yeah.
brands and stuff. And what I learned was how to properly do market research because I didn't know at that time. I'm still a university student. I wasn't even taking marketing. I was taking music of all things. And so I learned how to properly do research. I knew what pat responses were, how to build out things like scripts, so sales scripts for people, how to gather feedback on somebody's experience working with a product. So I took so much away from that little 8-month stint of a job that I just only got because I needed a paycheck, and that was it. So, all along my career has been weird little contracts and jobs and trying out things. And I just would take all these things almost like a sponge and just, I don't know, learn about the world and figure out how can I take what I've learned now and pass that on and help other people.
I really love what you're saying because what you were knowing that there was something bigger out there for you. You said that you didn't know how, which none of us do, by the way. That's why we always say like the how is literally none of your business because even if you think you know how, it's not how you're gonna. It's not really how you're gonna get there. But what does happen, which you're so eloquently describing to us, is that we can honor a pool, right? We can like honor a God wink and show up for an assignment, right? And then that assignment can lead us to the next opening, right? And if we can just trust, right? If we can just trust that if I honor this opening, it will lead me to the nenext opening, it really would alleviate wouldn't you agree that it would alleviate so much stress for people?
Yes, 100%, 1,000%. Because I think we do this thing where we see a goal or a target. I used to do the vision boarding thing all the time, right? As early as 19, I watched The Secret and I'm like, vision board, vision board. And I was obsessed with this vision board. And all I had in front of me were all the things and experiences that I wanted to have with zero path on how to get there whatsoever. And so you try to get in your brain around how can I maybe accomplish that? And you come up with ideas that maybe I could use this piece of expertise that I have, or maybe I can take that experience that I have. And then the challenge is we do this a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we stop looking at what's happening around us and we close ourselves off to maybe new doors of opportunity or cues, or maybe even just the universe trying to say, hey, 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 over here. But we're
Yeah.
just like so hyper focused on trying to achieve that goal that we miss all of that amazing opportunity. And we just, you know what I mean? Like, I think we close ourselves off too early a lot of the time.
I really like that. I really like that perspective of things. It's like, we always
Mhm.
say, here that, when we talk about stuff on this show, the miracles they're infinite miracles available to you on a daily basis. However, we can only see about like 10% in front of us at the time. But if
Mhm.
we take that step, then it gets us like, then we can see 10% more and so on, right? And so, like, if you can honor those things all throughout your day, then all of a sudden you have opened yourself up for all of these additional miracles to come through, right? So I love how you orchestrated that. That's absolutely brilliant. And I can relate actually, because this is a fun fact about me. I thought I always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, which is freaking hilarious now, right? So look at that. That's a fun fact. Like I was like dead set actually. Like I got married and I had this 15-year career in corporate and I was very successful. And I said to my husband, like, I've done this, I've made the money, like we both worked really hard, but I've contributed to this house that we thought was going to be our forever house at the time. And I said, so I'm complete. Like I'm going to have my baby and I'm complete. Like we can live off of what you make. And we have the house, like, and, I felt like I, did my job, and, so I had my first baby, Bella, my beautiful Bella, who's 12 now. What? And I know. And I was like, 3 months in, I was like, everyone who knew me was like, you probably are not going to be a stay-at-home mom. And I was like, you don't know me at all. That's what I would tell them. I'm like, you obviously don't know me at all. I was like, this is my dream. This is my dream to become a stay-at-home mom. So anyway, about 6 months in, I started this company and it was called Looking Up, and it was all like hair, like headbands, hats, like all these cutesy things for little girls, because I wanted them for my own kid. And I was like, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to sell it online. Who wouldn't want these, whatever. And I built this whole website. I learned how to sell things online. I learned how to connect payments online, like all this crazy stuff that then years later parlayed into making it so easy for me to create a business online for people, right? Just exactly like you're saying. But that business went up in flames. Like, I literally lost so much money on that business, right? It wasn't for me. Like, I had no business doing that. But what I learned, like, gave me an ROI that I can't even comprehend to this day because of that experience. And I did honor what I was being told to do, even though it didn't seem successful at the time. So I think that's really important for people to hear too, right? That it doesn't have to be successful at the time, but what you said, Ash, is that they can take what they learned and they can apply it to the next step. So why is branding your thing? Like, tell me about this world of branding. I'm calling it branding. You can call it whatever you want, but like, why is this like your zone of genius?
I think it boils down to the fact that, right out of university, like I mentioned earlier, I took a music major. I had no idea what I was going to do. No one told me, by the way, in the university, not a single professor, that when I graduated, I wouldn't be able to find a job. Nobody told me that. It was all just a big cash grab. It's all a big business. I was really unhappy with my university experience because I left there with a useless degree that meant that I was going to get no work anywhere. And I was really upset by that. And I was like, I can't go back to school now. The government wants their student loans back in 6 months. I got to figure out a way to do this. And so I really just had to find a job that would pay me some sort of decent money that I could do. And what's fascinating is, I worked at a restaurant as a server my entire university career, right? I was really good with people. I was really good at upselling at the table. I would walk away with $300 a night in tips. It was just what I did. And I met somebody that I served in the restaurant one night just at work who was like, you're phenomenal with people. You know what you should be doing is working for me. And at the time I was like, ha, like, I'm going to get my degree and I'm going to go off and do my big music thing, right? Totally dismissing it. And gratefully they gave me a card and they said, give me a call if anything changes. So of course I graduate from my program maybe 6-8 months later and I'm going, oh crap, I can't get any work anywhere. I wish somebody would have told me that. I would have taken that opportunity 8 months ago, right? So I am digging through my stuff because I swear I'm not a hoarder, but for some reason I still had this card. And I called this person up and I said, hey, I don't know if you remember me. And they said, absolutely, I remember you.
Wow.
Come into my office. We'll sit down. We'll have a chat. And I didn't really realize at the time, but I was being recruited to a financial firm who was expanding across Canada at the time. And I didn't know anything about anything that they were talking about. But what I did know is that I needed a job. And I didn't know anybody in the city that I was living in because I moved away from home to go to university. So I said, I've got no market for you. I don't feel like I'm the right person. And they said, you were absolutely the right person.
Wow.
So they mentored me and got me started. I actually ended up working in the financial industry for 10 years.
Wow.
And, kind of was brought up through the ranks of that. And the thing that I loved most about that work was I actually got to mentor and train new brokers who had come into the firm and teach them about how to tell their story, what it is that they were selling, really formulate their brands. And I had no idea that I was really doing that until it was brought to my attention, several years later when I was helping and mentoring people establish businesses online, because my roommate from university was a graphic designer. And so I was sending her all of these people that I was working with and all these great businesses that kept coming to me for advice all the time. Hey, Ash, I want to, get a new business off the ground. All I have is an idea. I don't know where to start. What do I do? I was the go-to person in my network for anybody who wanted to start a business because I started my first business at 22. So people were just coming to me because that's just who they knew. And I wasn't charging for it. I did that for free for 15 years. Right. And then I realized, hold on a second. I could probably charge for this and do it because I love it so much.
Yes.
So I really just kind of was, I don't know how to describe it, but really just being at the right place at the right time. But we know that luck is not just luck, it's preparedness, right? Meeting opportunity. So I think I was just prepared for when those doors of opportunity came to me. And therefore I was lucky in my sort of discovering of my skills. And I kept sending my roommate, client after client. And interestingly, I also, out of university, took a hiatus and I worked before my first daughter was born, who will be 12 in February. So we're very aligned in our stories a little bit. Who I ended up getting a contract job working for a local newspaper, and they trained me and sent me to Adobe Bootcamp to get trained as a designer, because what they actually wanted me to do was all of their print layout and copy editing and ad design. And so I was like way out of my element, but it was something that, again, out of all these little things that I had experimented with that really played into what I was doing. So I'm talking and I'm sharing with my roommate, and I'm like, hey, my ex-roommate, I should say, here's another client, until one day she said, Ash, I can't take any more of your clients. And also, I know you know how to do this, so why don't you just do it?
I love it. I love it. And there you go again, another door opening. So good. So what is the best kept secret that you have learned along your journey?
The best kept secret that I currently have, and I wish it was less of a secret, so I'm going to start talking about it more and more, but it really is about tuning in a little bit better with what I need. I have to, and I've learned over time that I'm more successful in my business when I genuinely honor myself, like we were talking about earlier, paying attention to my own physical and energetic cues of what it is that I need first and foremost, because we all know you can't pour for an empty cup, but when you're an entrepreneur, you really are embarking on a journey of your own healing and your own self-discovery, your own journey of self-development. And you have no choice. I mean, if you want to rise and stay successful in the business that you have, like, it really is something that you have to do. You have to stay on top of things. You got to be learning about yourself all the time, becoming a better leader all the time. It doesn't stop. The growth is always there. But if you're just pushing and pushing in that really like hustle mentality, there will be a phase of burnout. I've experienced it twice. And severe enough that I couldn't work for a year. That's how long my recovery was. Wow. After my last daughter was born. It was really intense. And so, I've learned and had to learn over time that I can't be an effective leader. I can't, deliver effective services. I'm really ineffective as an entrepreneur if I am not keeping an eye on my energy, keeping an eye on my health, and make sure that I'm prioritizing myself along the way.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you're right. It shouldn't be a secret. That's a really, really good one. I love what you just shared there. And the way that you put it about prioritizing yourself. I just started in some of my coaching programs talking about, what this next year coming up is going to look like for us in 2022. And I always talk about, look, every single thing we talk about falls in 4 categories, right? It's health, wealth, self, or relationships. Everything else is going to fall into one of those 4. So I was considering my own relationship category, and I was like, I need a better relationship with myself. And so one of my goals coming up for this next year is once a week, which is going to be enormous for me, right? It's going to be a really big commitment, but once a week, do one act of self-love. And I know that might sound crazy to some people out there, like that's going to be a big deal. Yeah, it is, because I will sit down to work before I'll go take a bubble bath, right? Or I will follow up with emails, right? Before I'll go to the chiropractor, go get acupuncture or whatever, right? I take a yoga class, so I have to schedule it in and I have to make it a goal and a commitment because I'm goal oriented, right? And so you have to learn what works for you in order to put yourself a priority first, like you're saying. And I love, love, love that. So how do we get into your world? Like, tell us a little bit about, like, how do you best interact with people? How can people find and learn from you? How can people work with you? Like, I want to know all of this.
Well, I wish I was online more. I wish I could clone myself and that I could have, be in a bunch of different places at once, but I really am immersed in my clients' work a lot of the time. And so I'm not really all that online as much as I'd like to be, although that's where all of my clients come from, is from a variety of online spaces, which is so beautiful and amazing. But I would say that I'm probably the most active on my personal Facebook page. So you can come and find me there. And I do have a business page as well, Ash Ahern. But I would say that I've done my best to make myself available for people who may not be in the place where they can just hire me directly, because I understand that I've been doing this for such a long time. We have a bit of a wait list. People are kind of, I would say that our services are in demand because we do things very differently. I would say almost opposite to pretty much every other creative agency out there. And so we only take on a few clients at a time. And I only do day rates now. So people can't even really hire me for long-term projects like 6 to 8 months. We don't even really do that. So we actually book our jobs one at a time in sequential order, and we're 100% focused on that one client for that period of time until we move on to the one that's booked next. So that's very different from most creative agencies who they're juggling hundreds, if not thousands of clients at a time. And we don't do things that way.
Okay,
so it's very interesting.
So what do you mean by a day rate? Like if I'm somebody out there going like, what do you mean by this? Like how am I supposed to pay you? What does this day rate thing mean? Like, does that mean you only work for me for one day, or is it a week, or is it what is it cap at? Like, tell me a little bit more about this.
So what's fun about it is there's no cap. So you may have a large project that in, the normal circumstances might take a year to launch. We actually had an 8-month project just recently wrap up. That was massive. I mean, we needed multiple team members who worked on it basically all day, every day, 9 to 5, weekly for 8 months. And those are the kinds of jobs which are really cool and fun to do. But during that period of time, we're not working on other stuff. Mm-hmm. So, there's a wait list and people are booking us in advance and things like that. But what day rate essentially means is, because entrepreneurs are all over the place, we've got people who are brand new, who just have an idea, or someone who has maybe developed their own website to try to get their offers out, but they're really not really sure what they're doing and they need support there, to the ones who are now ready to scale up, or ones who are building out entire online universities, which is like the one that I just shared with you. They have over 30 courses that we put into an entire website. It was a massive, massive project. So the thing about day rates is that you may be anywhere in your business and need support and have probably hired designers on Fiverr and stuff like that to try to piece it together and duct tape it and staple it and do what you can to kind of create a system. But what's really cool about us is you get to save money. So rather than hiring a big, huge agency who has a massive retainer and your project's probably going to be, $20,000 to $100,000, rather than stretching it out over 6 to 8 months or a year, we compile what it is that you need and determine how long that might take us. So whether it's a day to 5 days, depends on the scope of your project, but you only just pay for the day at a time. So I would say 9 times out of 10, it's solopreneurs or emerging influencers who are looking to get their message out to the world. They have a book that they're writing, or they want to become more of a public speaker, or they just need to get their services out there in some capacity. And they don't have 5 figures to invest in an introductory style, website offer and branding package. They just don't have that capital. Especially now, just in the last couple of years, because of COVID, so many people have lost their jobs. They don't even really have a lot of income to get going. So, they're coming to the table saying, I really want to work with you, but I don't really have a big budget. What can I do? And so the beautiful thing about doing a day rate model is that if you just have a long list, maybe you just have a punch list of just, man, these 10 things I just really need help with, whether it's updating a website or creating graphics or establishing a content calendar or figuring out what they're going to do for their podcast or their blog or whatever it is, they can just book us for the day and we just sit down and we co-create for that day and we just hammer out everything that they have left on their plate and just get it done. So it's a completely different model, and I'm really enjoying it so far because it honors my energy and where I need to be, which is no more than 2 day rates a week. That's where I'm at right now. So no more than 2 day rates a week. That's it.
I love this. I absolutely love this. It's just such a beautiful example of you honoring your gifts. You're obviously very, very good at what you do, obviously in high demand. And at the same time, you can allow yourself to not get into the rabbit hole of burnout from that, even though all of those things do exist. And you can still truly honor who you are, who you are to your family, who you are to your experiences in life, right? And that allows you to show up even more fully in your job. I absolutely love this. Is there anything that you would like to share, in a closing statement that you may not have had a chance to offer yet to the people listening?
I would say, a lot of people struggle with the concept of branding and what it takes. So I actually did compile my entire branding process into a do-it-yourself type mini course. It's only 6 videos long. But I think that that's one thing that is really helpful for somebody just getting started, because they may have a limited budget and don't have the ability to hire any designer one-on-one, whether that's me or any other designer. And so that is available for anybody who's interested in it. I don't actually have it public. So if you would want access to that, you got to reach out to me. It's kind of a special secret offer that's not really available to the public yet, but I can definitely pull some strings. But the other thing that I really want to encourage listeners to do is look at your own business model and find out, where are you over delivering? Where are you crossing your own boundaries, where you would maybe like to stop work every day at 5 p.m., but you find yourself at your computer at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, because I've been there and I know what that feels like. And how could you maybe look at the way that you do things and repurpose it and repackage it in a way that honors yourself more? And I swear to you that the day rate thing was something that I just channeled one day because I really needed it. I was literally having a breakdown over how much time I spend at my computer. And it came to me gratefully. I'm very, very grateful for that. But it's, something that I think a lot of entrepreneurs need to do and look at. And if you're not currently tracking your time and where it goes, you can get free apps like Clockify, where you can literally just start tracking how much time you're spending on different things, and knowing what your statistics are, knowing how long it takes you to do certain things, and knowing where you're spending your time. Just having a tracker mechanism like that you can go back and analyze and be like, whoa, I spend way too much time on this or on that, or I'd like to spend more time on sales or marketing or whatever, because you will wear 1,500 hats when you're getting started. So where, can you prioritize, where does your time really need to be? And, there's amazing VA companies out there now. Like I work with Stealth Agents. It's like $6 an hour for a very competent, university educated VA out of the Philippines who is very eager,
Beautiful.
And it's like, that is a beautiful wage for them. They're actually earning more than any of their competitors that live in their area. You're giving them a very, it's more than just a living wage. They're doing, you're really doing something good for them. So I'm just a big proponent of supporting other business owners too.
Absolutely.
So anytime I have the opportunity to pull in another contractor or something, like I will do that, because it makes my life easier. It supports another small business and we all win.
Yeah, that was beautiful and perfect. What a way to close. There were so many pearls of wisdom that Ash just dropped for us. And visit her website. Okay. Do you want to share your website with us one more time so we have it right here?
Yes, absolutely. You can find us at fluidbusinesslab.com.
Perfect. Okay. She's on the socials, as she has already shared. We have her website, okay, where you can find her and connect with her. And we thank you so much for your wisdom today, for your story, for your energy. It's been absolutely beautiful to connect with you. And I know that everyone is going to gain so much value from this conversation. So thank you for being here. And thank all of you so much for joining this episode of On Air with Kate Butler, sharing life's best kept secrets. I know Ash shared with her what she thought was her best kept secret, but I think that we actually got a lot along the way from this particular conversation. It was amazing to dive into this beautiful journey. And so for anyone out there who has this idea or is starting a business or is in their business and something isn't clicking, it sounds to me like go back, right? Listen to this, pull out what resonates with you, perhaps reach out, contact Ash, get into her world, and allow these beautiful humans who are here to serve you to show up in your world and do what they do best. I am so excited for all the things that are unfolding for you, Ash, and for all of you that are listening. It is all absolutely possible, and we will see you again next time. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for listening today. I would love to connect with you on social, and you can find me on Instagram and Facebook under Kate Butler Books. If you're interested in accessing some life-changing tools and techniques, you can grab those right off of the homepage of my website for free, and that is katebutlerbooks.com. And you can always check back here to download new episodes from our podcast right here where you listen today. Until next time, thank you for making this world a better place just by being you.